And hello all my fine Sunday morning friends, or Saturday evening depending on your time zone. Or it could be any day of the week. You don't have to be watching this live. In fact, here's a tip for you. Don't watch it at all. That's a very quick way to improve this live stream. Okay, I think I'm here. I think I'm on, which means, first, I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. Thank you, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. And good morning. The chat list is just updating. So we have good morning to Alistair, Crispian, Austin. Austin was just streaming, but I didn't see any of it. I'm sorry. Amanda. Okay.
Jono is being funny.
While I think of this, Amanda, so Amanda just sent me some pictures in Facebook and in Messenger, whatever. And I just want to know if it's okay for me to show those pictures because that's pretty cool. So also, good morning to Michael Wise, Henrik, Dentistries. Dentistries, I don't think I've seen you for a little while, Dentistries. Stephen W, Wagon Loads, Tabraze, Stephen George, Sharky, some call it fun. Keith H, good morning, Mr. Barbecue. Imi, Mike, Matt W, John Whips. When I said Mike, I meant Mike Carden there. Paul Schultz, David C, Eddie Mills, Gateway Community. I don't remember a Gateway Community. And Gavin. So, welcome. Just moving that to the side. Got to make myself some room here. Henrik! Thank you, Henrik.
Creations said, you'll see it eventually considering it'll make your conveyor that much better.
Okay, hang on. What did I just miss? I was trying to read and I missed. That was Austin. Oh, okay, yes. Austin said, you'll see it eventually considering it'll make your conveyor that much better. Yes. So all right. I have a bag, just imagine a big bag with a string around the top and the whole bag is sort of struggling and it's thrashing around and there's stuff in it, or maybe there are multiple things in it. Those are the squirrels. So let's do some brief squirrel feeding before we get to the real thing. Alistair said, you must have had a good sleep last night. I've suffered the Dex curse, got to sleep around 4 a.m, woken up by the kids at 6:30. My glasses are hiding how bleary my eyes are. I got a reasonable amount of sleep last night. The night before, I got almost none because I was up I worked through the night and then I was up early yesterday morning to go to a truck factory down in Dandenong for a major project, which is one that I have not discussed on the stream, but it's one I've been working on for years. And I've been working on a system that is going on a truck, which is going to Brisbane for a truck show which starts in a week and a bit, I think. Henrik asked. Henrik says, here it comes.
Did you have any coffee?
I have had one coffee so far. It was recently enough that the caffeine has not yet had time to get into my bloodstream. Truckosaurus.
Tabraze Malik said, what time is bedtime normally for you?
Normally, it kind of varies, but probably typically 11 to 12 or a little bit later, something like that. And then normally I'm up struggling in the morning again as well. Where are we? Wagon Loads asked, did you just start? Lucky I clicked on the thumbnail. Yes, I did. I only just clicked on the thumbnail. Jax Tech is also here. Good morning, Jax Tech. Also, I see in the chat, Gateway Community Church Live is in the chat, but did not appear in the list on TTS. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, no, sorry, Truckosaurus, said Alastair. No, well, in some ways, yes. Yeah, Michael says, when you pass 50, bedtime doesn't match what they were at 20. Yeah, it's much harder to work, to do all-nighters these days than it used to be. I still do it, but I feel terrible afterwards. So, yeah, anyway, I've been working on this project, excuse me, for a number of years now. And it's a, I don't know that I can say much about it, except that it is a very big robotics project involving semi-trailers. And in this particular case, a B-double. So it's not just a big truck, it's a very big truck. And yeah, so I've been doing a whole lot of stuff with that. Recently, my friend Angus has been helping me with that as well. Many of you will know Angus, formerly from Espressif. And yeah, Crispian says, proper truck. Yes, it's double the fun, says David C. Yeah. So, it's a thing, what do I describe? It's a thing related to automation on semi-trailers, and it's a robotics project. So, yeah, and it's going to be in this truck show in Brisbane. So, my client is kind of, yeah, it's crunch time. That's what it comes down to, is it's crunch time for this project. And I'm pretty sure I'll be back at the truck factory on, I was going to say on Monday. That's tomorrow. Stephen W. says, John has created Optimus Prime. Not quite. It doesn't make the truck stand up, sadly. Yeah, but it is still an impressive project. It's something that very few people know about, even within. So the place where, I won't name it, but you could probably figure it out if you're in the industry. It's the biggest truck company in Australia. As in the biggest company that makes trucks, makes semi-trailers. And so yeah, they employ many. It's hard to overstate how big this place is. Like each of their facilities, you can just imagine a factory that builds semi-trailers. It is so big, and it's many factories across sites, like with roads in between. It's the sort of place that's so big that when you want to go somewhere within the factory, you get in your car and you drive there. And so each time when we've been working on this secret project, when new people come along and they see us working on it and they see it in action, they stand there and go, wow, this is so cool. Amanda said, okay, so Amanda, I see. Thank you. I understand now. So the user that I didn't recognize was Amanda, logged in under a different account, and
Austin's_creations said, would we recognize it once unveiled at the show?
Probably. Yeah, we'll see. Because I've been so focused on the technical side of this, I've had almost no awareness of what's going on from a marketing and that sort of side and what they're doing with it. I've seen promo videos, like drafts of promo videos and brochures and those sorts of things. Nothing that's been distributed yet, but I've seen some of the drafts of stuff that is going to be used for promotion, and it looks kind of cool. Let the squirrels loose. Hang on, here comes Henrik. Is he going to catch up? Is it visible from the Great Wall of China? Only if there is a truck just near the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China isn't in space, is it? I don't think it is. I think it's down here on Earth. Okay, so what was I saying? That's right. That's right. Amanda gave me permission to show the photos. I just need to... Okay, I've got to move a few things around here. I'm going to move that out of the way, move that there. And open this. Now, I've got to work out how to... What's that? Forward? Download? Okay, I'm going to download these images. Stark Industrial Group. Hang on, you'll see this in a minute. This is really, really cool. So once I figure out how to do this, what Amanda has done... Oh, okay, let's just do this a simple way. I'm going to move this up here, and I'm just going to share the screen and not click anywhere that I shouldn't click, with luck. Okay. Stark Industrial Group. So what Amanda has been doing is making this little rack, and it's 3D printed. Where are we? I'm just moving things back so I can see again. Yeah, I don't know. TTS has... Oh, and Esbro Kelly is here. Welcome.
Test.
Yeah, that did work. For some reason... Michael said Great Wall is made in China. Yeah. For some reason, there was a message from Henrik that didn't... Yeah, the test messages came through. The other one just didn't happen. I don't know why. Ah, I do know why. Henrik, your message was trapped by the she who shall not be named. I'm just muting it. Filter. That's why. Yes, mini rack. Sorry, back to chasing this squirrel. Dentistry said mini racks. Yes. And I'm going to click on this one. Check this out. A couple of little mini racks. These are so, so cool. Oh, Amanda, Stark Industrial Group is your registered business.
Amanda Thompson said, Stark Industrial Group is my registered business.
Cool.
Austin's_creations said, I suspect that there is a TT's filter.
Yeah, Austin, I think you're correct. That's why that message just didn't come through. I'm just scrolling back up to see where was Amanda's description. Oh no, it might have been... So Amanda's description was in Messenger. So I'm not going to pull that up and dox both myself and Amanda. But check these out. This is so cool. Little mini racks. 10-inch, I think. Is that right? Amanda, tell me if I'm wrong. But I think these are 10-inch mini racks, which with nice big handles on them. That A is dangerously similar to the Avengers logo. Oh, like with the right-leaning thing. Yeah, you can just make out the layer lines in this. So these handles are 3D printed. This front panel is 3D printed. these do look cool. Yeah.
Amanda Thompson said, yes, 10-inch.
Yep. Groovy. Nice work. Nice work. That's very impressive. I like these angles for ventilation. You can see it's got the 45-degree angle on the bottom and on the top. So it's a little bit like a portal cube in that, you know, the edges are sort of beveled. So it's got bevels on those edges, not on the verticals. And vents on the diagonal
Amanda
portions.
Thompson said, all 3D printed.
All 3D printed? Hang on. What about the rails themselves? Are they 3D printed? Really? And if so, what are they 3D printed out of? I want to know. I just assumed that what you did was took bits of metal rail and then 3D printed all of the fixtures and things so that you could attach it. Ah, so this side panel. Yeah, my assumption was that this side panel was a sheet of metal with Stark Industrial Group printed on it, like a sticker or something. But no, so what you're saying is that this side panel is a multicolor 3D print with the logo printed into it. Very nice. Henrik is still trying to get around the TTS filter. Always pushing
Alexa.
for... Yeah. You figured it out that time. However, I have muted it, so you getting around the filter is not going to activate anything. Amanda said, all 3D printed in ABS except the M6 screws. That is very, very impressive. Really cool. Yeah, I didn't expect that the panels were printed, and I didn't expect that the rails were printed. But if you've got... I would worry about twisting on the rails because of the weight of the equipment that goes in, and then the weight is all behind it if it's attached at the front. But if you can attach the equipment both front and back, like if you can put back ears on it so that it's attached on the front rail and attached at the back rail, that would be very stable and very strong. So that would be good. Paul said, yeah, it looks like back rails as well. Yeah, so you could support it front and back, which removes that the rotational force or the torsion. It must have taken a month of printing and used all of the filament, says outside the box, or Crispian. Yeah, there would be a bit of filament in that. But I don't know, if you used, say, a roll, say you used an entire roll of filament, I don't know how to judge it, but just my gut feel is you could probably do this with one roll of filament. That's probably 30 bucks of filament. So getting a rack like this for 30 bucks. Oh, Amanda says it's 10 millimeters thick on the rails. 10 millimeters thick? Ah, yeah, well that would make it very rigid. Yeah. Okay. This is super cool. So yes, some of you will remember a project that Amanda did a while ago, which was the retractable rack mount patch leads. A patch bay, yeah, like an open patch bay sort of thing. Some Call It Fun asked, how is the logo applied?
Henrik Ostrov said, why not print M6 screws as well? I've heard rack studs that LLT sells are made of plastic.
Oh, Amanda said, only use 637 grams of filament for the 5U. 1, 2. So the 5U, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the smaller one is 5U. How big is this one? Is it 10? 1. Hang on, I've got 2. No, I'm having trouble with my eye calibration. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that top one is 5U, and this bottom one is 2U. Is that correct? I don't know how 10U... So the spacing is not even. If you're looking at this and thinking, hang on, the spacing on these is not consistent, then you are correct. That's because the standard... I always used to think that rack mount systems had holes at even spacing, but they don't. They have 3 holes per rack unit, and 1 hole is in the center, and then the other 2 holes are slightly towards the edge. So what you see is a pattern of 3 holes, and then a narrow gap, and then a pattern of 3 holes, then a narrow gap, pattern of 3 holes, etc. So each 3 holes is 1 rack unit. Yeah, 2U, the bigger is, small is 2U, the bigger is 5U. Yeah. So what Amanda was saying is that 637 grams of filament was used to print the large one. And 637 grams is, it's 2/3 essentially of a reel. And reels are in like the 30-something-ish dollar range. So this is basically like a $20 or a $25 enclosure. There is no way you could buy anything like this for even close to that price. Yeah, that is really cool. Very cool. Oh yeah, Wagon Load says Jeff Geerling has a mini rack system. Yeah, they are starting to become in vogue for home labs and things. I like them. I like mini rack systems. Ooh, okay. David. Good morning, David. David Howes is here.
Said, so like 63 racks, that's impressive.
So like $60 for 3 racks. No, there are only 2 here, I think. Like that one, that's the 5U. And this one, which is the same one here that's on top. But yeah, you could do 3 racks for $60, give or take, approximately. That sounds about right. I'm talking Australian dollars here. I don't know what it would be in equivalent buckaroos in other in speak words in other constituencies. Can you just turn a desktop PC into a mini rack? Asked Wagon Loads. Ooh. Oh, David C. said, you are forgetting all the production costs of printer runtime and electricity and
Henrik
waiting.
Ostrov said, how much costs metal mini rack?
Yeah, metal mini rack. I don't know. I haven't looked them up. We could always do that. Let's, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say 10. I'm going to try typing on, come on, is my keyboard working? Yes, 10-inch mini rack. One of the squirrels I'm going to rant about is keyboards in a minute. All of you people out there who are into custom keyboards, ergo keyboards, that sort of thing, get ready. The squirrel is coming. Okay, so cable hub, .au 10-inch mini cabinets. Let's see what these people say. There's a metal one, $136 to $157 for a 10-inch mini cab. Oh, and it says it's out of stock, but let's look at it anyway. Okay, so this is a metal one with a glass front, 136 Australian dollars. Yeah, well, it's kind of nice that it has the glass front, but it doesn't have the carry handles, and it doesn't have the well, it's got ventilation on the side. I like Amanda's. And what you could do, so if you felt like it, you could always make a front to go on this. You could fit hinges to it and get some, like get a sheet of acrylic or something, or polycarbonate if you really felt like it. And you could cut it, if it was acrylic, you could laser cut it and use like a magnet latch or something. So you could put fronts on this as well for not all that much cost. So yeah, in that sort of region. Let's see. Let's go back another one. 8RU server rack. That's 8RU. U-rack. That's the toolless one from Ubiquity. Oh yeah. Project Mini Rack. A home like, yeah, this is Jeff Geerling's thing. DIY Mini Rack. Cheap server racks. Where's space-saving IT solutions? These are, oh yes, wow, that is cheaper than I thought. $77. Oh, but yeah, it's Australia. All right, 10-inch 6RU mini Soho data cabinet, $71. But look at all these fittings. So the cabinet itself, yeah, is one thing, but then all these fittings are cool. 12-port Cat6 mini patch panel. So there is all of this 10-inch gear that can go into it. So cable management, patch panels. What's this one? Mini hinged wall mount bracket. Okay. Recessed patch panel. Blanking panel. Okay. Anyway. Oh, Amanda said, in a second.
Amanda Thompson said, the sides, top and bottom can also be laser cut from 3mm acrylic sheet.
Yes, you could certainly do that. which would be a lot faster than printing. Much faster. Okay. Oh, Alistair said, print a multi-board mounting pattern on the inside of the panels for easy cable routing. That's true. That's true. Oh, dentistries, you gotta go. Okay. Well, thanks for coming in to say hi. Jax Tech said, metal mini racks usually run around the 60 to 100 USD range. Yeah, that sounds in the ballpark. Now, just based on what I saw a moment ago, I'm just looking for keyboard things. So, not there, not there. I must have closed it. I had a keyboard tab open. All right, I'm in the unfortunate situation right now of using a keyboard that I thought would be really good, and it turns out to not be. Keyboard. Not that one. Where is ErgoDox EZ? Maybe. No, not that one. Anyway, recently, this, oh, Voyager, that sort of style. Yeah, something like the Voyager is what I want. Okay, yeah, in cosmic black with US keycaps, but I would need to switch it around for Dvorak. Which keys should I get? Cow chocolate brown, 60 plus 10 grams of force. I don't want clicky. Linear lighter touch. No, I think the choc brown would be the keys to go for. USD $365. Okay, so where is it? I will show you the keyboard that I've been using for a while, for quite some years now, many years. And it looks gross. It is so disgusting. This Microsoft Sculpt. I have, if I get the angle right, look at the markings on here, and you see there and there. That's where my wrists lie against the wrist rest on the keyboard. And let's go to the overhead camera and look down here. You see, it's all started to wear away.
_creations said, and here I am very happy with my 25 keyboard.
Yeah, so this is all starting to wear away here. And if you look at on my wrist, it started to heal up now, but my wrist was actually bleeding early last week. You can see there's a little mark there that's starting to heal up. It's red around there, but it was actually cut through along there, and I kept bleeding. At some point, my hand was really hurting, and I was bleeding, and I was thinking, what's going on? Why is my hand cut? And it's because of abrasion against the keyboard from so many hours of having my hands on the keyboard. Because when I use this keyboard, I'm going to just pull the batteries out because it's actually still powered up and paired with my computer. So I'll get the batteries out, which means that I can bash on it and not do anything. Let's zoom that out. Zoom that way. Okay. Yeah, and look how dirty it is. It's gross. So this is the keyboard that I've been using for a long time. You can see that it's got QWERTY keycaps layout, but I actually have it set up, I have my computer set up for a Dvorak layout. So all the vowels are under my left hand, most commonly used consonants under my right.
Austin's _creations said, small repairs like that is why I keep moldable epoxy on hand.
Moldable epoxy. Yeah, I need to fix this up. So I knew that this keyboard was not going to last forever because I go through keyboards. And I previously, like my previous favorite keyboard was the Microsoft Ergo 9000, I think it was, which was a split keyboard. It was a bit bigger than this. It was the older generation. It had built-in, so it didn't have this compact form factor. The arrow keys were separated out, and it had a numeric keypad. I've got, I think, about 5 or 6 of those keyboards, and that was my previous favorite keyboard. And it also had like a little zoom thing in the middle, like a rocker. Yeah, those were really good. But then they went out of production. I ended up buying a couple of them because I knew that I would wear them out. And eventually I wore out my spares as well. So I would get problems like sticky keys and stuff that just didn't work properly. I have them still. I have not thrown any of them out. I still have all of my old Microsoft ergonomic keyboards, but they're retired now. So the Sculpt was the logical replacement for it. And it's kind of a strange keyboard because the structure of it, it's super thin. It's a bit hard to tell from, yeah, you can kind of see there. It uses keys that are kind of like laptop keys, except in the form of the split keyboard. And I really like this. I can type really well on this. And it's generally a good keyboard.
Austin's_creations said, looks like a new company owns the keyboard from Microsoft and has them coming back in stock soon.
Exactly. So Austin has preempted the next part of the story. I knew that when this wore out, I would need to get another one.
Said, can't you design your own keyboard?
Oh, Henrik. This is the squirrel. But let's not get too far into this. The short answer is yes, I can design my own keyboard. And I have in the past. I have built, that was one of the major things that I did with Nick and Chris, was custom input devices. I have done that many times. I've got all sorts of projects for custom HID type stuff. So this keyboard, so what happened was, when my hand started bleeding from typing too much and from this being worn through and the hard plastic being exposed, my first thing was, oh, I'm just going to buy another one. And so I jumped online. Turns out you can't buy these anymore because they went out of production beginning of last year, like beginning of 2024. Microsoft stopped making them. And as Henrik just pointed out, another company out, I don't know what their relationship is to Microsoft, like, or how this deal came about, but basically another company has bought the rights or somehow acquired the rights to produce this keyboard. And they are going to be bringing it back. But they've been saying that for a little while, and I don't think you can order it yet. And also I'm not entirely sure whether it's going to be like indistinguishable from this, or if it's like a re-engineered keyboard that's done with the same basic design, but you know, maybe they'll use different switch mechanisms or something. And I like these switch mechanisms. They feel really nice to me. Even though it is super skinny, the action on them feels great. So I can type pretty well on this.
Said, I didn't point out nothing other than make your own.
Yeah. Yes, I know, Henrik. Make my own. Make my own. I am fighting that urge. My natural instinct is just to open Fusion and start laying out a keyboard. But there are keyboard generators for KiCad and all sorts of things. Like this is such a big area that I do not want to fall into it, because I could become both broke and obsessed. And because building keyboards is not cheap. By the time you buy all the keycap sets and the keys, and then you can have different types of keys and they can be hot pluggable. Yeah, there is software out there for using microcontrollers as keyboard controllers, and it does the HID emulation. and they have things like web-based configurators where you can lay out your keyboard in a web browser and then generate a config which gets pushed to your keyboard, and then you can do multiple overlays and layouts and all sorts of things. And you can build keyboards with built-in rotary encoders and LCDs and RGB LEDs.
Key CSPS. Henrik Ostrov said, "Can you show under your keyboard?"
Show under my keyboard? Do you mean the bottom of this? Oh, Wagon Load says make a touchless keyboard. Can you show us under the keycaps? Oh, pull a keycap off and see what it's like under there. Good question. Oh, and the other thing is you'll notice that the keycaps on this are not consistently sized. See, the N is longer, H and Y. These are like, they have a straight line down here, but staggered lengths because the key is not ortholinear. So an ortholinear keyboard stacks the keys in columns, and traditional keyboards do not.
Some Call It Fun said, "Your keyboard must know me. Backspace key is bigger than enter."
Backspace. Yeah. Okay. Enter. This gets into the keyboard that I have just been typing on throughout this stream. I will show you in just a second. Okay. So I started with the previous Microsoft keyboard. I think it was the Ergo 9000. I can't remember. My memory might be wrong with that. Then I switched to this one because it was the replacement for that keyboard. Now the replacement for this keyboard is the Microsoft, I'm going to grab it. It's just here on my computer. Hold it up in front of that camera. It looks like a grey version of this. So if I take the Sculpt, move it out of the way, and put this one in place, it looks like a grey version of the Sculpt. The key shape is very much the same. You can see on here, these keys have a straight line down here, and then the staggered length keys here. The key shape in that area that you can see, that I'm not blocking off, is very much the same, apart from the space bar. That pisses me off. Oh, and also the bottom row keys here. Now, on the Sculpt, you'll see that it's got a split space bar. So there are two space buttons. And that is so you can hit it with either thumb. And it only presses like the right space or the left space. So you could remap the individual things if you wanted to, but what I do is use, you can see actually from the wear on it, I use both. So when I'm typing, I use both thumbs for space, depending on what my hand is doing. So typically, most commonly the right, but I also use the left for space, depending on what the typing pattern is. And one of the advantages of that is because this is a split design, well, it's not separate, it's not actually cut in the middle, it's joined, but it's this ergonomic design where the two halves of the keyboard are separated. Because the space bar now has to curve around, if you think about it, the space bar is designed to move in the plane of the hand that is pressing it, which means that this space bar, I'll exaggerate it, is basically moving diagonally in that way, and this space bar is moving diagonally in that way. So if I hit space there, that space bar is not moving vertically straight down. It is moving at a slight angle in line with the other keys from my right hand. Now, look at this. Non-split spacebar, which is so annoying because they have not got the mechanical structure right. So if can I turn this one off? Yeah, I'm just gonna pop a battery out of this so that I don't start doing stupid things on the computer, which is still streaming. All right, so there's no battery in it now. Well, there's one battery. So it jams. The problem is that if I hit the space bar with my right thumb, it's kind of twisting the space bar, and mechanically, internally, it is not nice at all. On this side, it is pushed in flush with the enclosure. On this side, it's not. It's sticking up. The whole bar twists. And it started to loosen up a bit now as I've been using it over the last few days. But it actually stuck. When I was first using this, it would regularly stick. And the spacebar would just like auto repeat because it was jammed in. Yeah, so that part of the design they just have not got sorted. Oh, it just did it then. Yeah, it doesn't do it very often, but anymore now that I've been typing on it. But the other thing is that the feel of these keys is terrible. It's like low quality This feels like super high quality laptop. Very nice action. This feels like rubber. It's like an old VZ200 keyboard or something, for those who know. If you know, you know. You know, like a chiclet style.
Tabrez Malik said, just looking at the way your hands rest on the keyboard, they have a slight natural tilt to them, so you might be better off with a tented keyboard rather than a flat one.
Yeah, this one isn't flat. This is tented. Not radically, but if I turn it like that.
_creations said, in other words, they decided to break something that wasn't broken.
Yeah, that's right. The design was excellent, and they have... yeah, and I'll bring this one in as well.
Said, pop off the spacebar and see if you can make it split.
Ooh, Amanda, that's an interesting idea. So this is the angle. Hang on, I'll turn it this way. So you can see that it is angled. So my wrists end up in a semi-natural position, and this one is also angled. The two halves of it come up at a slope, which is why there is the problem with the spacebar. So firstly, spacebar not split. Secondly, the action of the keys just feels rubbery. Now, thirdly, this is the thing that gets me. Look at the position of the enter key here. We've got shift, enter. These are horizontal keys. When I first started using this one, so enter keys are often a strange sort of shape and they're usually quite large. But look at, all right, so keep this in mind. We've got these keys here, the enter key comes in underneath it, and just looking at the shiny pattern on it, you can see that I hit enter with my pinky, and you can see that the strike location is on the left half of that key, right there. So that's when I'm typing, if I'm hitting enter, I'm hitting it with my right pinky, so I just do that to hit it, which is still a reach. You can see that I've got to move my spread my hand to hit enter. So I reach for the enter key and hit it on the left side of the key with my pinky. Now, look at the enter key on this keyboard. That's it right there. That key, despite what the keycap says, the keycaps on this don't match because this is a Japanese layout keyboard. You can probably see there's kanji on it in various things. So it's got a Japanese keyboard overlay on it. But then I run a Dvorak mapping on it. So what you see on the keycaps, almost none of them are what they actually say. So just ignore that. That's not the thing. I'd probably be better off with a blank keyboard. Now that key there is backslash. And look how narrow the enter key is at that location. So on my Sculpt keyboard, the enter key is wide and it comes in underneath this area. On this, so this key right here, the backslash key, is exactly in the location where I hit this. And over the last few days that I've been trying to type on this keyboard, just about every single time I try to press enter, I hit backslash, because that is the natural location that I go for the enter key. So I'll be typing something like, I don't know, colon S slash whatever, and enter, and and then I do a backslash, and then go, what? And then I got to do delete, and then enter. So what I find myself doing is I will type, and then I look for the enter key, I move my whole hand across, and I hit it with one of my other keys. So it's a very deliberate action of type something, reach across, press enter. Type something, reach across, press enter. It's just horrible. So, yeah. Not happy, Jan. The other parts of this keyboard are pretty good, like having the dedicated numpad over here and the separated out arrow keys and all of these sorts of things. So this arrangement right here is much better than on the Sculpt. This arrangement. Oh, and there is the Sculpt also has a separate numeric keypad, which you can just put beside it, so that's fine. But this part is better than on the Sculpt. So here we go for the serious rabbit hole. Having made many different custom input devices myself over the years, I did the thing. In fact, what I'm going to do is, what am I going to do? I'm going to leave that keyboard there, and for this stream I'm going to switch back to the Sculpt, so I'm going to chuck the batteries back in it. The receiver dongle is still plugged into my computer, so I will move back over here. Yeah, that that is on the screen right now is what has really got my attention. Yes, I have been diving down the rabbit hole, trying to find how to get myself back out of the rabbit hole. Yeah, Wagon Load says reprogram the keys to the backslash is enter and use a different key for backslash. Yes, that is what I'm thinking. But also what I'm thinking is what Stephen W. said, which is making your own custom keyboard is a time sink you don't have time for. Yeah. Yes, that's right. And that is why I've started to look for keyboard kits or off-the-shelf decent split keyboards. And just based on what I've seen, this is the one that looks the closest so far to what I want. Okay, so there are a couple of criteria. One is I want a dedicated numeric row across the top. Many of these compact ergo keyboards are, no, not that. Okay, a couple of things. You can see, look at this thumb array. So in this case, there are 6 switches for each thumb, and I don't want 6 switches for each thumb. I want it to be simpler than that. And there's a trade-off between overlays, which is multi-purposing keys, and number of buttons. So I don't want like a full keyboard with everything, all of the keys. I want it to be a reduced key set, but not crazy reduced. So with this sort of arrangement, you do space and enter on your thumbs. Instead of using the pinky for enter, like on a traditional keyboard, which would be off to the right, you could use like one thumb for space and one for enter, which I think would be much nicer. Yeah, so I don't want a big array of buttons for the thumbs. I just want 2 per thumb, which looks ideal. I do want a dedicated number row, and a lot of these little minimalist ergo keyboards don't have a dedicated number row. Oh, and also you can see on this one that it's ortholinear. You can see that it is vertical columns, of course columns are vertical, of keys, and they are all aligned. They're not staggered like on a normal keyboard. So ortholinear, it's got hot swappable, well not hot swappable, it's got pluggable mechanisms. Tabriz is about to ask.
Tabriz Malik said, "Have you seen Ben Valek's YouTube channel? H has reviewed a lot of these keyboards, commercial and custom."
I don't know the name. Let's see. Ben Valek. Ben Valek. Maybe I have seen some of his videos. I'm just muting that. And oh, okay. According to the history, I saw, I watched Barefoot Shoe Community. Okay, I watched a video of his about barefoot shoes at some point. Videos. Have I watched any of his? I'm just scrolling through his list of videos right now. I don't think I've watched any of his keyboard videos. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a few keyboard videos. Keychron
Amanda
V10
Thompson
Max.
said, "Have you looked at the Keychron V10 Max QMK via wireless custom mechanical keyboard?"
Keychron V10 Max. No, I haven't seen that one before. Images. That looks interesting. And kind of surprisingly cheap, I think, from what I saw. $159 pretty much everywhere. Yeah. Keychron Australia. It's got the, I don't know, the key layout. It's not ortholinear. I think I would prefer ortholinear. It's got the B there. Why does that, hang on. And, oh, it's doubled up on that key, I see. So the B is doubled. That's a bit strange. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. But the layout, I think, looks a little strange. I do like that it's got the function keys. I would like some media control stuff, although I could do that through a custom keypad as well. So if I end up going for something like a semi-minimalist keyboard, you know, like this sort of thing, you typically lose media control keys unless you do that through an overlay. And you can do modifier keys and things, like custom modifier keys to access other overlays, so the top row could turn into media key control. To be double. And the key is always a key no matter where you put it. If you had keys digital ID in them and stuck to the base with magnets, you can move them anywhere, and the key is always a key no matter where you put it. Interesting. Oh yeah, Mark Slab said the Kinesis M-Wave looks similar to my original sculpt. Yeah, I think it's a little extreme on the cupping though. Oh, hang on. That one. Oh, yeah, I was looking at this, like the Gateron Kinesis Advantage 360. Yeah, the Gateron keyboards are, apart from being a little expensive, are more extreme. They've got very extreme cupping, and I don't really like that style. It's never felt it doesn't feel natural to me when the keyboard is concave. I think it's more natural for it to be convex. But yeah, you're right. This one looks a lot more like the sculpt. I wonder what the action is like on it. Like the yes. The M-Wave mechanical keyboards. What keys does it use? M-Wave for Mac. Yeah. The thing that is Oh, it uses, yeah, replaceable keys. Switches. Okay. Oh, it uses Gatorons. Yeah, okay. So it is, they should be replaceable. Because one of the big issues with keyboards, of course, is the feel is critical. What the actual switches feel like is critical. So you can have a keyboard that has the perfect layout and arrangement and everything, but if it doesn't feel good, like that, the Surface keyboard, the Microsoft Surface, the grey one I was just showing you, that one feels kind of rubbery. It just doesn't have good action to the keys. And that's the unknown. And the thing is that they're not necessarily that cheap. But this, $119, and it has Gatoron switches in it. This is very interesting indeed. Maybe this is the answer. It could be enough to stop me diving down the rabbit hole. M-Wave for Mac. This will be US dollar pricing, I guess. So about a bajillion Australian dollars.
Said, go for it.
Yeah. Our store only supports US customers. Okay, click here. Let's see what it says. International order inquiry. Okay. Where can I buy these in Australia? Kinesis, M-Wave. Oh, come on. Shopping. Oh, M-Wave have them. Oh, no, that's a different one. Where is it? Kinesis. These are all different. Yeah, that does look good. I just need to find somewhere to buy it. Oh, yeah, the classic. Yes, with mechanical
Cabray's
switches.
Malik said, it says the classic sculpt design reimagined. I didn't see that before.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for pointing this one out. I think this is going to be something to investigate. I would really like to, yeah. New version, remind me later. I'd really like to either build a keyboard, or my phone's on silent. Why is it ringing? I'd really like to build a keyboard, but or get one of these.
Henrik Ostrov said, can you search at eBay?
Search at eBay. Maybe Kinesis M-Wave. I don't think there'll be anything like that. I've given up on looking at eBay for stuff. Gaming freestyle. No. It's all. What's that? Kinesiology tape. Okay. Yeah. Gaming freestyle edge. Yeah, I don't see any that are like that style. M-Wave mechanical keyboards. Yeah. So, without going to the extent of that, which is, I think, what I would like, maybe something like that is a compromise that would be better than that, which is what I am struggling with at the moment. And in the short term, I think what I might do is try to repair this one. I'm going to do some I'll clean it up because it needs it. I'll do some mechanical repairs, add some padding around this corner, and then maybe I can continue using this one for a while longer. Oh, they have in-case designed by Microsoft Sculpt. Yeah. Andrew said, try looking at JW. They have in-case designed by Microsoft Sculpt for $299, ETA 23rd of May 2025. Yes, that is the one I was talking about, the company that has licensed the design from Microsoft. Hang on, I'll pull it up on a browser. JW in-case Sculpt. Oh, no, get off. This. So this is the keyboard, which is the designed by Microsoft. This is the one that is being made or is about to be brought back by a third party based on the Sculpt design, but you can't buy it yet. And the thing is that it's $300, which is not, it's actually not bad for a keyboard. Oh, John said, like to add, I'm no way affiliated. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, but it is, you can't actually buy it yet. If this was available, I would probably buy one, but you can't. The ETA on this has been pushed back a number of times. I hadn't seen it at this retailer, so JW is an Australian retailer. I saw this listed at the wherever it is, in case. Kogan listed, but do they have it actually for sale?
Henry said, "Can you Google it? Laser keyboard."
Laser keyboard. Oh yeah, I've seen laser keyboards, but I don't like the lack of tactile feedback. Hang on, are they actually selling it? Oh, sold by JW Computers. No, they're just reselling it. So why do? Yeah. See, this is the thing. It looks like these sorts of things are available, and they're not. Here on Kogan, it's listed for $229. Add to cart. And then you can see that it is not actually sold by Kogan. They are reselling it, sold by JW Computers. But then you go to the JW Computers site, which is this one, and it says ETA 23rd of the 5th, so you can't even buy it here yet. And if you go to the actual manufacturer's site, they say coming soon or something. But they said it was going to be released like November last year. Oh, here we go. In case. Designed by Microsoft. Yeah, keyboards. Here we go. Microsoft Sculpt. Shop. Yes. I would like to buy one, please. Add to cart. Can you buy it? When I was looking at this only a couple of days ago, it was not available to buy. Okay, I could spend the rest of the stream on this subject. I could do many streams on this subject. Ooh. Colte Wepanomu said...
Try to buy it.
Try to buy it, yeah. Let's try this. So... Faggot Tech. Interesting. So it's got the split space, which is nice. It's got the big horizontal enter, which is nice. It's got an encoder for media stuff, all the function keys, proper arrow keys, but in a compact form, which is pretty cool. Okay, Vico pedal switch is the only switch type you can get, and it is programmable with QMK, which is cool, so you could do custom overlays and things. Swappable. That is an interesting one as well. Okay. Well. No wrist rest. No wrist pad. Microsoft 600, says Stephen W. Is that the... I think that's
No
like
wrist
the
pad.
Microsoft 600 keyboard. Yeah. What is this with designed by JW having designed by Microsoft?
Austin's_creations said, hear me out. A keyboard made with telephone rotary dials.
Okay, so you can get 10 different selections per rotary dial, although of course you could customize it. But imagine if you just use traditional rotary dials, it is 0 to 9, so you've got 10 characters per dial. So with, say, 4 rotary dials, you could get 40, which would be enough for a proper keyboard. And just as long as you don't make the enter key or something, or the space key, the full rotation on one of the dials. Yeah. Wagon Load says, laser keyboard and haptic feedback mode is on fingertips. 1 word per minute, says Crispian. Yeah. Laser. I'm going to bring this up.
Ostrov said, it's safe for me, they have in stock.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm going to bring this up because Henrik is asking about it. When I first saw these, I thought they were the coolest thing ever, and now I can't stand them. So this is a laser projection keyboard. So for those of you who haven't seen these before, what they do is there's a little box that sits on the desk, and it has a projector that projects down onto the surface, whatever it happens to be. So the keyboard doesn't actually exist, it's just projected onto the surface. And then what you do is type on the flat surface. And yeah, and then the system tracks the position of your fingers on the surface, so that it knows which key you're tapping on. The problem is 0 tactile feedback. You are literally just on the desk. You're just hitting your fingers on the desk, and there's no like travel movement or feeling, like, yeah, no feedback at all. And that means you have to be looking at your hands at least from time to time in order to get the position correct, because you can't just blind type. Like on my keyboard here, I don't look at my keyboard when I'm typing, partly because there's not a lot of point, because the keys that are on the markings are not the actual keys, because I used Dvorak layout. All the keys are remapped. So looking at it is only for visual alignment, like for alignment of my hands on the keys. But I can reach down, like I can close my eyes now, put my hand on the keyboard, and I am properly aligned on the home rows, and I could type now with my eyes closed and not need to see my keyboard. So you can't do that with this. You have to be looking at what you're doing, and you can't feel if you're starting to wander off the edges of the keys or whatever. Oh, Alistair said, if you think that's bad, try the on-screen keyboards in VR. Yeah, I can imagine that would be bad. Stephen says the laser keyboards feel like typing on an iPad with 0 feedback. Yeah, the interesting thing is that some touchscreens can have haptic feedback because they've got the little feedback mechanism in it. So it can make it feel like when you're pressing the keys on the keypad, you feel the tap, like the click. The click is being simulated.
Outside the box said, bring on the neural interface.
Yes, just not Neuralink. Yes. So anyway, These things look super cool, and it's one of those things where the idea is better than the reality. They are just not good. So, coming back to it, this is what I want. But it's a big commitment. The idea of, where are we? 365, add to cart. Where are we? Shipping included. Oh, that's all right. Shipping is included. Tactile brown, ships
Rack
in
32.
2 weeks. Yes,
Henrik
rack
Ostrov
32.
said, look my last TTS that didn't show new P.
Okay. ZSA. Shipping is free, but is that within Australia? Oh, I've shown the last few digits. Oh, I've shown my address too. Look at that. See, I can dox myself at any time. Yeah, okay. Oh, speaking of address. This is barbecue next week. That is a critical thing. It looks like I can't do it next week. What is the date today? Sunday, May the 4th. So the next barbecue was going to be May the 11th, which is next week, which is Mother's Day. And I didn't think that was going to be a problem. I thought that that would just be like Mother's Day events and things could be done. I could do it around it. However, yes, that is not the case. So my sister has booked a family event for Mother's Day lunch, early afternoon. And it's like going out to a restaurant type arrangement, and it's all booked. So I am going to that, is the upshot of it all. There is no way around that, which means I can't be here next week, next Sunday after the live stream, which means I can't do the barbecue. Yeah, I celebrate on Tuesday, Revenge of the 6th. Oh, Donna says, may the 4th be with you, John. Yes.
Google Sculpt keyboard on Amazon.
Sculpt keyboard on Amazon. Yeah. Amazon.com.au. Because the thing is that on a lot of Amazon stuff, I can find it and it just says, does not ship to your region. All right. Microsoft Sculpt. 500. Oh, yeah. Were you just wanting me to freak out about the prices because of the scalpers? That's probably it, isn't it? Look at this. $561. No featured offers available. $1,372. Where are we? Oh, that's a carry case. No featured offers available. $475 listed with one offer. Yeah. Oh look, it's only got it's got mostly 1-star ratings. So yeah, $561. Yes, that's the thing, is the scalpers have got in on the action. Oh, Henrik says, yeah, but that'll be $399 US. This is Australian dollars that it was just showing me. Right. Now, where am I? That's right. So, updated July. Yeah, okay, so barbecue. There are some options. We could do like an it's been 2 months since the last barbecue, nearly 2 months. The one coming up was going to be the first of the 2-month interval barbecues. So either we push it back by like 1 week and we do a barbecue a week later, or skip it and do the next one. But that means, as Stephen said, yes, July would be the next barbecue, which means it would have been a 4-month break in between. Why I hear beeping. Yeah. Auto barbecue countdown timer. Where is that? Is that on Discord? John O'Less barbecue. Yeah, you can have a barbecue without me. I don't need to be there. I think that would be a feature, not a bug. So anyway, I haven't yet decided if I wanted to run another one, like do one the week afterwards as an out of sequence barbecue. Yep, on Discord. Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I could do an out of sequence barbecue, which would make it on the 18th, on May the 18th. That might be an option, given that there will then be another 7-week gap from there to the one after that, because they're every 2 months, to the one in July. I'm kind of leaning towards that, doing an oddball one rather than just skipping it for 4 months straight, which would be a huge gap in between. The advantage of not doing it this coming weekend is that the swamp, the mechanical workshop area, will be a little bit more progressed, so more ready to show off, which is good. Sion, yes. Sion said, "Moo everyone, am late and can't stay, but wanted to say hello and ask Superhouse TV what days, if at all, he's going to Electronex and Manufacturing Week." I am definitely going. I haven't yet decided. There are several other people who are going.
Outside the Box said, "Don't fret, John. We didn't used to have barbecues."
Yeah, that's true. Barbecues weren't invented until I started doing them. So there are a couple of people. Iggy is going to be in Melbourne, and I want to catch up with him. He's going to hear the chainsaw. Stuart getting into it over the road. So he's going to be at Electronex and the SMB, what is it, the PCBA show. So he's going to be in Melbourne for most of the week. Lachlan says, let's do Thursday, late as possible. Okay, I'm fine with either. So from memory, Electronex is Wednesday and Thursday. I am happy with doing either day. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. I don't have any commitments on either of those days at the moment. So I'm fine to say, let's go for Thursday. And Sion, if you would like to meet up at Electronex on Thursday or Wednesday, sounds good to me. All right. And Lachlan, if Lachlan's going on Thursday as well, I could do the same. And Tom will also be coming. Sion says it's a short day Thursday, so it would need to be morning. Yeah, that's fine. I could go in first thing. Like, just go straight there in the morning. I wouldn't be intending to be there for an entire day anyway. So having half a day there is enough. I'm not going to the show portion, just going to walk around and look at all the tools and things, the stuff that I can't afford. And dream of things like inspection optics. Sion said, I'll be there a few days as I want to hang at Manufacturing Week and stare at all the machines I can't afford. Yeah, exactly. Same sort of thing as me. Just look at the machines and go, oh, that'd be so nice. Oh, Russ will be walking around as well. Excellent. Yeah, well, okay. Well, this is a good point. Maybe we should organise some way of synchronising and finding each other. Yeah, 5-axis CNC, baby, says Sion. Yeah. Okay, when I go, I am going to post in Discord about it. So if anybody wants to try to... if anybody wants to try to meet up there, like Russ, if you want to meet up, or anyone else, we can figure something out. We'll find a way to do it. Gavin says, I'm up for a morning in the city. Sion says, Thursday 10 a.m. at the cafe area.
Ostrov said, Take loans so you can afford stuff you have us the lovely supporters.
Yeah, thanks, Henrik. I'll take out a loan to buy Sion a 5-axis CNC machine. So Sion said Thursday 10 a.m. at the cafe area in electronics. In electronica? In electronics. Yeah, okay. Sion, it's a date. It's a date and a time. The date being the 8th. So for anybody who wants to meet up at Electronics, 10 a.m. cafe area, Thursday. Yeah, bloody auto stuff, Electronics. Good ideas for your next project. All right, excellent. So Sion and I will be there at the very least. I expect that Lachlan will be there. Maybe Russ will be there. And who was it? Gavin? Yes, Gavin Jackson is going to be there. Steve says, I think Dave EV blog is going to be at Electronics on Wednesday. Yep, probably. Yeah, he comes when it's in Melbourne. So Electronics switches between Melbourne and Sydney, and sometimes he comes down when it's in Melbourne. Okay, good, Russ. It's in Russ's diary. So it's going to be kind of like a meetup. It can be an unexpected maker / superhouse crossover meetup. Now, okay, thanks, Sion. Thanks for coming along and for prodding me to make the arrangements on that. So cool. Have fun. And I will see you on Thursday, Sion. Maybe I'll even remember to bring back the power cable that I need to give you back for the reflow oven. Henrik said, yeah. Michael says, now moving along to the topic of the stream. Yeah, well, I actually have Fusion opening. It's I would, as you were saying that, I had it open.
Can you make a clip if you meet Eve Blob?
Maybe. I've done videos with him before. Oh, Austin says, would you be able to make a note to push?
Austin's _creations said, would you be able to make note to push the latest PCB conveyor code and PCB designs?
Yes. Yes. Latest. Oh, and PCB designs. Okay. Sorry. I was going to say yes. And then I just realized I did a thing about the conveyor. So where are we? Conveyor 2.0. The thing is, I can push this conveyor 2.0, but this is not. It's about to get ripped apart and totally redone based on the new WS touchscreen thingy-majiggimies, the plus versions when they come in. So I'm going to have to do a whole new PCB conveyor design. That grid looks horrible. It's lines instead of dots, and it's at 0.5 millimeter. It's just visually overpowering. Come on, why did that disappear?
Austin's
Display one
_creations said,
dots.
that's fine. My code will be modular.
Yeah, okay. So what I was thinking of doing is switching this to the S3 and designing a whole new board based on your concept of having an add-on that goes on the back of the screen. The WTS32, I can't remember the part number, that touchscreen, I ordered a couple of the plus versions weeks and weeks ago. Like when we were talking about it on that stream a few weeks ago, I ordered some. They attempted delivery at some strange time when there was no one here, and then they went back to the depot, and for nearly 2 weeks now, they have been marked as undeliverable, or delivery failed, and they're going to reattempt delivery. But it has been, I think, 2 weeks since they attempted delivery here, and then they haven't tried again since. So I can push, where are we? I'm just going to pull up GitHub, conveyor, PCB conveyor.
Austin's _ creations said, did you follow up with the delivery company?
No, you can't. It's like one of these dodgy little local gig work contracting things. It's a company called Elmile, I think, or Elmile or iMile. Yeah, PCB conveyor. Oh, that's the V1.0. Okay. Yeah, so the V2 stuff is not there at all. Yes. So you're right. I need to do that. Even though, so this is what I currently have. Like my actual hardware is this one. All right, restart Fusion. Do it. Restart. That's the version of the hardware that I have now, and it's about short. Crispian says L mile, short for last mile. Yeah. Fusion is restarting, verifying. Yeah. Elmile is not the best with deliveries. They marked some of my stuff delivered on a Saturday, but didn't actually deliver it for another 4 days.
With deliveries. They marked some of my stuff delivered on a Saturday, but didn't actually deliver it for another 4 days.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty terrible. I've had a couple of deliveries from Elmile recently. Just stuff I've ordered on AliExpress, and they seem super dodgy. Fusion just grabbed all of your processor. Yeah, did I get like, oh, YouTube is not getting enough data. Ah, great. Thank you very much, Fusion. Yes, Fusion did just grab all of my processor. This is the downside of using my computer for doing the streaming instead of using the ATEM, because it's going through ABS running on my computer at the moment. Conveyor and conveyor 2. Yeah, so this is what needs to be stuck on GitHub. All right, I'm going to leave. Well, I could just do it now. Right, so many things I want to improve on this. WT, that's the part number I can never remember. WT32SC01. So the plus version should be on its way.
Said, agreed. I should put in some feedback on their delivery company through AliExpress so they know. Austin's _ creations said, they do have a contact form, email and phone number.
Yes, but yeah, I should do it. I know, I should. I just moved this off your visible thing so that you can't see it, because if I don't do this now, I'm probably going to forget. Where are we? Superhouse projects. I'm finding the directory for it. PCB conveyor, hardware. Okay, so this is exporting the schematic. Yeah, you don't need to tell me that I've just done something. I knew that I did it. Export. Yep, and this one into PCB conveyor hardware. Yeah, stop the notifications. I did an export and then he told me I just did an export. So this, let's do document and print to PDF. Oh, I don't want it there. I want it somewhere actually useful. How about you stick it in the directory that I just had open, you stupid Fusion. Now I've got to navigate to the directory again because it doesn't remember what I just had open, the most recently used directory. Projects, PCB conveyor, hardware, and schematic. Okay. And all sheets and go. Okay, so I've just exported that as an Eagle schematic, an Eagle PCB file. And the reason I do that as Eagle format instead of Fusion format is that you can also import that into KiCad then. So if you prefer to use KiCad, you should be able to just do an import and pull this in. And I've done a PDF of the schematic. So let's push that. Projects. Where are we? Git status. There's a whole lot of uncommitted stuff in there. Oh yeah, the firmware you were wanting as well. Yes, okay. So we will do hardware. Yeah. No, that's two M's. Added V 2.0 schematic and board layout. That'll do. Git push origin main. Okay, Austin, that should be in the repo now. So let's, what have we got? Oop. It was stepper PCB conveyor 2. PCB conveyor 2. Oh, maybe. What's the difference? Ooh. I've got to make sure that I don't commit that one.
Austin's_creations said, "Thanks. I should have something testable soon. It is quite close."
I'm going to do git add PCB conveyor 2, PCB conveyor 2.ino, and PCB conveyor 2. Should have just gone into that directory, gcode.h, and then I'm going to do a git diff on PCB conveyor 2 config, but I'm going to do that off screen, off stream rather. Is there anything? Oh yeah, it's just got some it's got some pin assignments. It's got some CAN bus stuff. Yeah, that's fine. I can show that. So I'll do git add PCB. Oh. This keyboard, the one that I'm using right now. So I'm using the Sculpt keyboard. And one of the other things that it has started doing. So apart from the cut on my hand from wearing out the left side of the keyboard, the rest, the actual keys are starting to get a bit dicky, and so I'm having a bit of trouble typing on it. What was the other one? Config, that's right, config.h. Oh, no, before I do that, I'm going to just, oops. No, that's not what I wanted. I want git diff that. So this is the change in the config. It's got, this is for, I made these changes because I was doing ready in, ready out via CAN bus instead of the opto isolators and the read relays. Oh, the dry contact stuff. So I've got an upstream address and a downstream address configurable, and our own source address, so that the upstream address is the address of the machine that is going to send us things. The downstream is where we are going to be sending things to. So yeah, anyway, I've got, these have been properly defined now, so they've been deleted, I think. What did I do? Oh yeah, they've been properly defined. So that's cool. Git add. Oh, see, it does weird things like that. I did not type A 4 times or 3 times. git add PCB conveyor. So even before the wrist rest, like before the keyboard started attacking me and cutting my hand, I was already thinking about needing to do something about this. So let's do, I'm just going to do a diff on the secret thing. PC conveyor, that, yours, yeah, okay, that's cool. I will not show you what's in there. Git status. Oh, stop that. Yeah, see, the keyboard was already becoming frustrating, and then when it started cutting me, I thought, that's it, I'm getting a new keyboard. That's when I ordered the that Microsoft Surface keyboard. Got that. What did I do? Okay, I added support for ready in out using CAN bus. And that was it, I believe. Yeah. So Austin, the latest firmware should be there now as well, I think. Yeah, this is not real. This has not been a Rack 32 stream, has it? It has not. It has not. I should change the thumbnail, even though I'm going to do some Rack 32 stuff now. Dodgy! Good morning! Oh, Crispian wants to know, how did I catch his yawn? I'm psychic. That is the only possible explanation. It is not at all possible.
Austin's_creations said, all is updated, thanks.
Cool. No worries, Austin. Yeah, it is not at all possible that correlation is not indicative of causation. Correlation is always a result, is always causation. Always. Always. Look at this mess. Look at this beautiful mess. Okay. Now, last stream I fixed up a whole lot of pin assignments and matched some things together. There is one thing in here that I am unsure about and needs some qualification. Well, what I have here is the H2 boot net and the H2 reset net linked to IO 38 and 48 respectively from the S3 via 1K resistors. They could be 0 ohm, could be whatever. It's to make the net names right, and also so that I can isolate those nets if I need to. Now, I have another project that I've been working on, and it uses this same pin assignment, this same scheme, and I have not been able to make firmware updates to the H2 work from the S3. So it's possible that one of these pins, like IO 48 or 38, is not suitable for use for this purpose. So how far do I dive into this explanation? I could spend the next 20 minutes explaining this. Okay, I will try to give you the short version. The idea here is that it should be possible to compile firmware which includes the firmware for the S3 and also includes the firmware for the H2 as part of the file system. And then what you do is you upload that, or you flash that onto the S3. And on the S3, it has the binary for the H2, and it knows the checksum of it. What it then does is it talks through its serial link to the, right here, through the serial connection to the H2, checks what version of the firmware is running on it, and it then reflashes it if necessary using the version that it has stored on its own file system. The upshot of all of that is that you can have one USB cable that you plug into your device and you flash it, and it updates both processors in one go. But that has not been working for me on the other board that I have. Actually have two other boards here that have this same scheme, and that has not been working for me. So there may be hardware changes required to make that work. But having these resistors in place at least means that those nets can be isolated, because I can just remove those. And what I've found is that what I've been doing on these other two projects is that I've been holding the S3 in reset and flashing the firmware directly to the H2 using its direct serial communications. Because if I don't hold this in reset, it prevents the H2 from receiving the upload. And it's got something to do with the control of the reset and boot lines going to the H2. So, yeah, so the upshot is I'm going to go with this design as it is, because this should work, and it could well just be that there is something in the firmware that is not working properly. And I need to fix that. So this is as good as I can make it at the moment. Good. Can update that. This is as good as I can make it at the moment until I've verified the operation of flashing the secondary processor on those other boards. Stephen W says, I thought they prefer you to use the slave via SDIO in the ESP IDF. I don't know. Maybe via SDIO. Yeah. Okay. That's something for me to investigate. Thanks, Stephen. I will keep that in mind as I try to solve that problem. So for now, I have got this pretty much as set out as it can be. Now, there are some things on this that must not move. That includes the RJ45 socket and the USB-C socket. These are on the front panel. The way this is oriented, that way. The connectors to the right-hand side, these ones here, this is the front panel of the board, and the holes in the front panel on the rack mount enclosure can't change. So for consistency, those two connectors need to be in the same place, and also these mounting holes should be in the same place. I could make the board longer if I need to, but I shouldn't move these holes. And ideally, this socket also should not move, because add-on boards that plug in on top of it kind of rely on that header being in that position. And I also ideally shouldn't move either of these connectors. This one is the I2C breakout, this one is the SPI connection that goes to the OLED, and they are aligned so that when this board is sitting in the rack, a ribbon cable that plugs into this can jumper across to the adjacent board, which has another connector that is in approximately this location here. So it makes it a neat cable just directly across. So keeping that in the same position, this in the same position, is ideal. Not as necessary, but ideal. So what I need to do is figure out how to make these various parts fit on this board, if I can. Yeah, I might have to make it a bit longer, but I might get away with it. I shall see. Where am I? Okay. So this part of the project, and where does that go? There's a whole lot of stuff here that, yeah, so that can possibly stay. Yeah. this part of a redesign is the part that I dislike, because I find myself mentally constrained when I don't need to be. When my design process, when I'm laying out a board from scratch, is to start by grouping the subsystems, or grouping the parts that form the subsystems, and then moving subsystems around relative to each other, or collections of parts, so that I get the optimal arrangement on the board. And then the routing is the very last thing before. So the more work you put into pre-placement of parts, the easier your job is when it comes to actually routing the board. And then, but now I'm in a situation where I'm redesigning. So I've got things where I put effort into routing, like around the Ethernet chip, for example. There's all of this stuff that has been routed. There are these that are on the back of the RJ45 connector that have been routed. I don't want to have to do that again, but a lot of the pin assignments have changed. Now here's a classic example. This net here, which is the interrupt going to the WISNet chip, on the old processor, so on the ESP32D or E, whatever it was that I had on here previously on the with the Vroom module, it would have had a trace, yeah, that went through here. And that pad there on the module would previously have been that. So this trace would have come to that pad, this trace would have come to that pad, and now it's this pad down here. That is now the position of the interrupt. So this trace, all the trouble of routing that around there and bringing it up to here, I mean, this one is not a complicated one, but I'm just using this to illustrate the point. Previously, if they were...
_creations said, that's the bonus to the S3 no defined pins. You can move it around and change it in code.
Yep, true. So I could just change the chip select. So where was chip select previously? So that one is now going to chip select there. Where was interrupt? So that one is interrupt. Where's... hang on, that one is chip select. Where is chip select now? It'll be over here. Where is it? Yes, I know I could find it by other means. That would be much more sensible. Why is that? Oh, that is copy. Oh, come on. Show me the name. Oh, keeper. Okay. SCK. Oh, that's the TFT RTC. You can see here, for example, the net comes up to this side of the module, and now it needs to go all the way up to that side of the module. So I find myself mentally constrained because I'm not wanting to rip everything up and start from scratch. So what I end up doing is actually, and there's a whole lot of visual mess. Oh, that one's not too bad. That goes up to there. That can stay there. But I need to let go of preconceptions, because I tend to just use... Where is that going? Please reset. I'll get rid of that via... Yeah, so I end up working around traces that don't even need to be there, because I'm in this transition period where there are some traces that I do want to keep, some that I don't, and when you're just looking at it like this, it's not necessarily obvious which ones they are. And like this one, for example, this one definitely should not be here, because it needs to go to this pad all the way up here on the left, not down here on the right. And it's like diagonally in the wrong place. So what I need to do is find all of those and delete them. But there are others where it does kind of make sense. Like this one, it comes down pretty close to where its destination is. And this one is coming up pretty close to where its destination is. So I shouldn't delete those traces necessarily. They may not be optimal, but they're kind of in approximately the right place. And if you just look at this jumble of traces all through here, you don't necessarily know which ones are really badly routed and which ones are close to optimally routed. So yeah, where do they go? Oh, they don't go anywhere useful. They just loop around. They take a long way to get around. Okay. Oh, these ones are pretty close to where they need to go. That's nice. And they're even staggered in the correct directions. So that's okay. But my point is, at this stage, it's basically a case of going through these traces and making judgment calls about which ones you want to delete to clear the way for rerouting. And yeah, I don't like this part of the process. But that one needs to go, that one needs to go. I think I just deleted another trace, but that doesn't matter. I'll ignore that. That 10K probably needs to move down into this area somewhere, and I need to find places for the power supply. So this is the altered power supply instead of using the module, which was on the previous Rack 32. I need to find somewhere for the H2. I'm thinking this area up here, and maybe move the 3.3 volt regulator somewhere else. We've got a programming header here, which will link to both the S3 and the H2, so that can go probably somewhere in the middle here, between them. I'm thinking of moving one of these these big caps. What net is that on? I think it might be on the 5 volt net. Yeah, so that's 5 volt rail. So what I could do is move this cap and the 3.3 volt regulator down into this area in the bottom right, which would clear up a whole lot of space here. I can put the H2 in there. So what I could do is take this, stick it down here somewhere. What's this one doing? I don't even know what this is. It's a 10K resistor, but what is your purpose, Mr. 10K? What are you linked to? The 3.3 volt rail. You're linked to IO0. And where else does IO0 go? All the way over there. Oh, okay. So it probably needs to go somewhere with that programming header. So that can go over there. Yeah, so this can now move. What have we got? Positive. I'll put the negative towards the edge and positive towards the middle, and then the 3.3 volt red can come over here, which is going to basically dump power into a plane anyway. So I could take all of that and move that down here somewhere. Where's the 5 volt rail? There, okay. So I could, do that essentially. I could actually literally do that. In fact, I am going to do that, for now at least. It's not necessarily optimal use of that space. There's a bit of dead space around there that could be filled up with something. I've got to decide where the 5 volt regulator is going to go as well. I can move this connector. I can move that. What is that one? That is on the, oh, that's on the 12 volt rail, which goes on the input side of the voltage regulator. I do kind of have a feeling that I may need to make this PCB slightly longer. I'm just trying to avoid that if I can. Am I still online? Wagon Load said, I made a web interface where I can click a button that makes an RFID tag read-only or writable. Can you do the same thing for the H2? I don't know. Make it the... Are you talking about make the H2 readable or writable? I'm definitely going to change the thumbnail for this stream because it is not... most of it has not been about Rack 32. It's been random chatting. I need to do a proper Rack 32 stream. Still here, says Austin. Cool. So these and the programming header probably need to be approximately...
Austin's _creations said, still here.
Yep. Still need to be kind of co-located. The power over Ethernet module, this DP1435, can stay approximately there, I think. Maybe I could optimize that the position of this cap by moving it left and down a bit to tuck it in around the inductor on the module. And then the voltage regulator, like the rest of it, can go in here. I've got a route around this 5 volt regulator. For now, let's take the H2 and stick it over here approximately, give or take a little bit. Somewhere like that will do for now. Does that leave me room in there for the voltage regulator? I believe it does. There's also a fair bit of dead space here. What is that 100 nanofarad cap on? Why is it there? Is it just a random decoupling cap hanging out in the middle of nowhere? Oh, I see. It's a decoupling cap for the micro SD card. That's why it's not down here next to the connector. It's leaving space.
Creation said, why do we have 5V?
We have 5V because, well, actually for a couple of reasons, I think. One is that it's available for use on some devices. I can't remember what needs it. And the other is that I use it because I drop from the input voltage, which could be 12 or 24 volts, and I do that using this switch mode regulator to bring it down to 5. And then I use a linear regulator to produce the 3.3, that linear regulator right there. So I do a 2-stage voltage drop. Now, question is, that is a good question, which is maybe we don't need the 5 volt rail. Does the 5 volt go anywhere? So we've got 5 volts coming in on USB from here. It's on the programming header rail. Is it used for anything? Because what we could do is make the switch mode regulator simply drop straight to 3.3 volts. But that would mean we'd need to send the 5 volts from USB onto the input side of that regulator. So we'd need some isolation. Oh, Wagon Load says, you said you were having trouble getting the H2 to get its programming code. Yeah, that is, yes. Austin says, what regulator? Yeah, that's right. There were some big problems with the regulators dying. I still don't actually know why that was happening.
Austin's_creations said, what regulator are you using from 3.3V? Because that was the biggest issue for the original.
Yeah, on this one, it is, oh, there's no part number on it. That's handy. AP2112K. In fact, let's put a value on that. Value, yes. Oh, okay. It does have a value. I think I'll just need to, what's the, in Fusion, what is the command for explode and then unexplode? Design, what about if I do...
Austin's_creations said, it was happening for 2 issues, heat and current requirements from MCPs and TFT.
Heat and current requirements. Oh.
Some call it fun said, in this age of AI, don't we have good auto routing yet?
No, we don't. So some call it fun. No, auto routing is still, well, it's getting there. Yeah, and I have seen some good examples of it just recently. S3 has Ethernet, H2 will be using Wi-Fi. Well, not quite. The S3 could be using Wi-Fi and the H2 could be using Thread. That is the reason that I would have the H2 in there at all. So it's a good point. Okay, this is getting back to the location of these two antennas relative to each other. And should they be this close together? Now, short answer is ideally no, they should not. They should be far, far apart. So let's just move this a bit further away for now while I think about it. And I could move that up there, I could move that in between, that could move down and across. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so the S3 is the one that would be connected to Wi-Fi, and the H2 will be doing thread/matter, which I believe is also at 2.4 gigahertz. Yeah, sorry, I just got distracted by the auto routing thing again. Eagle had decent auto routing, no idea about Fusion. Most of the time, faster to do it manually, especially if you have special signals. That was a comment from Austin. Yeah, Fusion's is better than Eagle's, and it also has routing auto, like quick route. So normally you would route routing manual. If I wanted to route this signal, I would select that and then move it up here and do all of that sort of thing. But there is also quick route. So if I select quick route and I click on that, oh, it failed. Route on active layer. I'll go any layer. Here we go. Badoink. And you can see that it completed that trace, brought it up to this point, added a via, and then added a trace on the top layer going to the destination. So you can go around and just click on, okay, I want to quick route that. Boom. And look, and there's now a trace. It comes out of here and goes up to there. And then I'll quick route that. Boom. And it's done. So you can this is per track auto routing. It's not full auto routing. And if I wanted to link that, let's go click. Boom. Oh, it won't. Okay. Why is that? Why wouldn't that quick route? Don't know. Anyway, yeah, it won't quick route the ground. Supports a maximum of 16. Okay, yeah. That's because that was a ground connection and there were connections all over the place. What happens if I click on that? Boom, quick route. But it didn't maintain that trace width, so I would have had to change the trace width. It's set in there. But I'm going to undo a few things, undo those auto quick routes. Yeah, so quick route is very handy if you are guiding the process and you've got something part of the way and you just want to say, you can't be bothered just clicking through the last few steps, and you can just go quick route and it will finish the route for you. Or do the whole route if it's just an air wire at that stage. Yeah, and there's quick route multiple, quick route guided. Yeah, quick route air wire or signal. Oh, okay, yeah, I was doing quick route signal earlier instead of quick route air wire. That's why it was in the limitation on routing that ground connection there. There is also auto route. Yeah. So, but the problem is that auto routing currently does not have how do I put this? It's kind of, my understanding of how the auto routing works is that it is sequential, very sequential. And part of the skill of designing a board like this or laying out a board like this is keeping context in mind. It's a matter of not just saying, what is the next thing I'm going to route, and then routing that trace, but doing that in the context of, is what I'm doing now going to make it easier or harder for future things that I still have to do? Because it can be very tempting to just run a trace. Say, I want to run a trace from here to here. So you just run from there to there. But then you need another trace that goes diagonally across that, and then you're stuck. So you need to think ahead. Maybe it would be better to route on one side of a connector or the other, so that you've then got a clear shot for a future trace that you want to add into that connector. So all of that, it's building that big house of cards in your brain and being able to do look ahead. it's kind of like playing chess, I suppose, in that respect. You're thinking moves ahead and thinking, okay, if I route this up here, now here's an example, I think. Is it an example? No, not really, but I will try to contrive an example out of this. The position of this diagonal, for example, if I had wanted a trace that accessed one of these pads, it could make a difference if this diagonal was here versus here, because I may want to, oh look, it's doing push and shove, it's moving those wires around as I move across here. Oh, and it's hit a design constraint there, so it won't let me shove any further. So the it's thinking ahead to, I want to route it around this area, because by doing this, it clears up this area, which then gives access to put a wire here to access these pins or these pads, versus doing it here and over here, which means that it can come out on the bottom side of that trace. Yeah, so it's all about thinking ahead of what is going to be crossing what and what needs access to what. Wagon Load says PCBs from the 70s had all horizontal on one side and vertical on the other side. Yeah, oh, just going back in chat, what have I been missing? Wagon Load says, how soon will they combine KiCad with AI so it can best routes for whole PCBs at once? Oh, people are already doing that. Yeah, there is some very cool AI-based auto routing, and yeah, I think I showed some on a stream maybe a month ago. There was some AI auto routing that looked really super impressive. Stephen has some design principles here. Stephen W said, route from highest to lowest priority. A power plane gets the lowest as it's just a wire down. High speed before moderate speed. Low speed can jump up and down to get around things as required. Yes, all good design principles. Oh, there's a question from Amanda. I don't know the answer to this question, but maybe someone else does. Does anyone know if there is a difference between the Raspberry Pi 2W dated 2023 and the Raspberry Pi 2 dated 2021? And does the Raspberry Pi 2 also have Wi-Fi? No, I don't believe the Raspberry Pi 2 has Wi-Fi. I remember using USB Wi-Fi dongles on them way back in the day. In fact, did the 3 have Wi-Fi? I think it was in the 3 series that they added Wi-Fi to it. Yeah, the routing on this is a mess. This is definitely not a very neat or optimized or nice design. The more I look at this, the more tempted I am to just do wholesale rip-up of these traces to give myself the freedom to move things around and rearrange the major blocks. Almost going from a clean, like a Grainfields approach. Almost, but not quite. Stephen says 2W might be a 0-2W. Yes, that was my interpretation of Amanda's comment as well. Oh yeah, both are 0 boards. Yes. Okay, Amanda. Then yes, the W was the version with Wi-Fi that denoted Wi-Fi. Yeah, just for the fun of it, I'm just going to hit save on this, and then I'm going to push to 3D and push, which is going to look like a bit of a mess with parts hanging off in space on the invisible substrate, keeping themselves suspended by dreams and hopes and dreams. Hopes and dreams and prayers. There we go. Hopes and dreams and prayers. Why isn't my... Oh. My, I need a USB cable? No, I can't be bothered. My, Space Mouse is not working because I don't think the receiver is even plugged in. I had it plugged in on USB previously. So I'll just have to resort to using the trackpad. Alright, so the... oop. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so I could move this capacitor towards the edge and down a little, but I don't know if that's premature optimization because I need to make it fit around this big inductor on the vertically mounted PoE module. Wagonloads asks, can I get KiCad for the Pi02W so I can change the form factor to my own requirements? I don't believe you can, because Raspberry Pi is not open source. I could be mistaken. If anybody knows if there are any design files for it, that would be very cool. But, Amanda asked, does the Raspberry Pi 02 dated 2021 have Wi-Fi? And there is an antenna trace on the PCB. I think it only had Wi-Fi if it had the W on it in the part number. Because they may well have had the trace on the PCB because they might have used the same PCB for both versions but not populated the parts necessary for Wi-Fi on the non-W version. So they may look the same apart from that. Steven says you can only get KiCad files for the compute module breakout boards. Yeah, so not for the boards themselves, only for breakouts and carriers and expansions and things. But Raspberry Pi is not open source. So, which a lot of people assume it is, just because of its popularity in the maker community, but it is very much a closed design. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I would be a lot happier if I got the H2 rotated 90 degrees relative to the S3, like if I could have it hang out the back here somewhere. So can I do that though? The only way I think I could do that would be if I moved the PoE module so that I could move this, or maybe I could move that cap and then move the power connector right in here and then have room to have the H2 in that area. Let's see the practicality of that. So if I, oops, not that, if I yoink out these traces, and I just move this cap out of the way somewhere. Let's just stick it over here for now. Get it out of the way, and then if I move this down into this sort of area, and I'll move that. In fact, that makes the the layout and routing nicer, which is good. In fact, and then I should rotate that. Then I could have all my diodes in a row. I like it when my diodes are in a row. Now I'm going to turn off violation violation checks on movement, so I can do that. I think that actually is going to be a better overall approach. Yes, I kind of like that. I kind of do. And then there is probably even room for the power supply to go in here, in between the two. And the programming header can come up here somewhere near the edge of the board. Maybe rotate that way. So
Austin's underscore creations said, in a row, why not a bridge lol?
Why not a what? A bridge. A bridge. It's not actually a bridge. These are just, where are we? I'll move it to there. I need to turn on, what layer do I want? Oh no, I already have I already have tdocu turned on, I believe. Where is tdocu? Tdocu, where are you? There. Yeah, tdocu is turned on, but there's no there's no docu layer on my footprint for these SS56 diodes. That is slack and annoying of me. Very slack and annoying.
Austins_creations said, very terrible H-bridge joke.
Yes. It's... that's ground, so that I don't care. Because there are entire planes dedicated to ground. I don't care that trace is broken, although I could run it underneath. Yeah, I should do that just as a matter of principle. Let's reroute that and bring that somewhere like that. Yeah, and that to there. I mean, routing now is totally premature. This is way too soon to be routing anything, because the positions of things might well change. Well, there's a... Why did that go there? Let's... Oi! It switched to the default route width. Some other odds and ends, they can go up around the programming header. So the thing to do is going to be to find somewhere to make this voltage regulator fit, which should be somewhere in this region. So I might be better off moving this. What rail? Oh, that's the 12 volt rail. Okay. So that cap might be better off up here somewhere, and then use this space for the, and when I say this space, I mean this area for the voltage regulator, because I don't think I can quite fit it into this space here. Also, this connector is longer than it appears. It actually protrudes above and below these pads by a significant distance. It's kind of like that sort of dimension. So it protrudes down into this area. Maybe I should rotate that. That would possibly make that more sensible. Like it could go there, then it can protrude horizontally, which opens up more space there. Yeah. Something like that. Obviously I'd need to pull back the ground planes around the antenna for this. So I'd pull it all the way back from that corner, I believe. Leave it as exposed as possible. But I'm not going to do it now. I'm just going to hit save and leave it like that. 2D and 3D are out of sync, I know. Oh, Amanda said, found that the Raspberry Pi 2 Data 2021 does have Wi-Fi, it just does not have the W on the silkscreen on the back. That's weird. That is very weird. I wonder if that was something they changed in the way they did their SKUs, because I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of people who assumed that the Zero had Wi-Fi and ordered the non-Wi-Fi version, and then were upset when they discovered it didn't have Wi-Fi. So they became much more clear about marking them as to which had Wi-Fi, which models had Wi-Fi and which didn't. I could be misremembering history there, but I think that's approximately what happened. Yeah, so that is, yeah. I'm going to go. I'll hit save on this again. And so the summary, remember, there is no, oh, John, mostly magic smoke, hello. Remember, no barbecue next weekend because I won't be here. And instead, Okay, I'm not going to commit to it now, but I am very tempted to do an out-of-sequence barbecue the following weekend. If that is the case, I will say so in Discord, and I will also talk about it next week on the stream. So, in the meantime, thank you very much for coming to this stream of squirrels, and I hope you have a great weekend. I need to rest. I also need to do some work. So I'm going to go, and also need to eat. So thank you very much for coming, and I will talk to you all soon. Go and build something awesome.